All kids love pizzas, so instead of buying the frozen version in the supermarket, I'm going to show you a way today how you can make them easily at home using up a lot of what you've got in the fridge. So, for any pizza you need a tomato sauce base, and you can use this for any flavour that you make. So I'll start with showing you how to make the tomato base. You want to have your heat quite low to start with. And this is a basic tomato sauce base for pizzas. So you want a tablespoon of olive oil, and you want a tablespoon of tomato puree, good squeeze, and then you're going to mix 2 tablespoons of passata, which is a sieved version of tomato sauce.
It's fresher to make your own tomato puree. Just by boiling up some fresh tomatoes, they will naturally, if you're simmering them down, will just puree to nothing, and that will reduce the amount of sugar and salt. Ketchup and purees tend to be higher in salt than the natural ingredients.
And then you just want to add a pinch, about half a teaspoon of mixed herbs, or herbs de Provence. Depends what you prefer, or what you've got in the fridge. And just a big sprinkle of herbs. You can just let it reduce down and thicken, so it gives you a nice rich tomato sauce for your pizza base. So you're going to leave your tomato sauce to simmer. Keep it on a low heat because you're going to leave it simmering for about 5 minutes, during which time it's going to get richer and richer. Just make sure it doesn't burn. And then take your pizza base and prepare the ingredients for the top. Okay, we're going to put the pizza base to one side, and I'm going to show you a version which is with bacon, courgettes, parmesan, and mozzarella. The great thing about making pizza at home is that you can choose your own toppings. I mean, you can do tuna and sweet corn, you can use salami, you can use peppers. I'm just going to show you one of my versions today. I like it because it uses courgettes, so it's another way to give your children vegetables at the same time as having fun eating a pizza. So we're going to use about half a courgette. I'll just take the end off that. Because all these slices you're just going to sprinkle over the pizza. And we've got quite a large base to cover, so we'll make sure we've got enough slices. This pizza's going to be enough for about 3 or 4 children. So what I tend to do is to prepare them in advance and then cut the pizza into portion sizes and freeze it and then cook it from frozen. So you don't need to eat it straight away. It's another recipe you can prepare in advance. And by cutting it into portion sizes, you don't waste the whole pizza because you just give your child whatever he needs or she needs for that meal. So we've got some slices of courgettes. We've got some spring onions, probably about 2 or 3 spring onions just to sprinkle over the top. Just take the outer layer off. You can use 2, 4. You can omit the spring onion. I tend to find whenever I make a pizza, even if I vary the topping, that I always use spring onion, the tomato base, and mozzarella, and then I change the other ingredients that go on because it kind of gives it a nice base. And then you just chop up your spring onions into little slices. You're going to sprinkle these on the top. And actually, spring onions are a lot less strong than any other onions, so don't worry whether your child's 2 trying to eat a pizza. The spring onion's really nice. Okay, and we're going to have some slices of mozzarella. You want to make sure you get about 8 slices so it goes all evenly the way around, minimum. And I've used just 1 pack of mozzarella here. You can add, you can use more, you can use less, but that's just one of your regular bags, 125 grams of mozzarella. So just set that to the side. And then we're going to take some bacon. And I've used here, I'm going to suggest you use about 4 slices, 5 slices. And you're going to cut your bacon into thin strips because, again, you're going to sprinkle it just roughly all over the top. So that's, I'm going to use 5, about 100 grams of bacon. But again, with this recipe, there's no real measures. I mean, you're making a pizza, you can sprinkle as much or as little of anything on the top as you like. The great thing about this is really just to show you how easy it is to do this at home, and that it's much more fun than buying the standard frozen version, which may have additives, and you can't control what you're putting on the top. So this way you can make whichever one you like. So you're just cutting up thin strips of bacon. And then lastly, we're going to grate some Parmesan, just to give it a bit of a taste. Just fine, on the fine side, not too fine, you just want to use the next size up. You basically want about a tablespoon. It's quite strong Parmesan, so you don't want to use too much, but it just gives it a bit of a different flavour with the courgettes. I prefer freshly grated. It has a little bit more flavour than the packet type you can just buy when it's already been grated. So, a little bit more than a tablespoon. Right, so by now our tomato sauce ought to have thickened nicely into a paste so we can spread it over the pizza, so we'll just go and check that. So you can see it's thickened up nicely here, so we're ready. We're going to take that back over and we're going to put that onto our pizza base. One thing I like about this recipe as well is that you can, if you really want to spend the time, you can actually make your own pizza dough, but it's much easier just to buy it, and it's much quicker as well. So I've bought one today to show you. And we're going to put our tomato sauce into the middle, and you want to just spread that around evenly. You don't want it too thick because it's just to give a bit of flavour everywhere. And then you are going to sprinkle on your spring onions all the way over. If I was going to be freezing this in portions, I would do exactly the same, and then I would just cut it into portions before I froze it and before I cooked it. So then it would be frozen uncooked. And then I'm going to sprinkle over some bacon. Yeah, I would freeze it uncooked, and then I would cook it from frozen for about anything between 12 and 15 minutes, but really it depends on the pizza base you buy. You need to check the packet instructions. It normally tells you how long you actually need to cook it for. So I may even have cut just a little bit too much bacon here, but that's fine. Leave that to one side, and then you just put the courgettes on the top. Just all over. And then you sprinkle on your Parmesan. So it's about a tablespoon of Parmesan. And then at the very end, you just layer on your mozzarella. And I think that looks like it was bought in a supermarket. So there you have your homemade pizza. And you pop that in the oven on 180 for between 12 and 15 minutes.
The 5-minute pizza is brilliant because by making it yourself, you've already reduced the salt, reduced the sugar, and reduced the fat in it because you're in control of the ingredients. Also, I like the fact that it's got a vegetable added on the top, and that vegetable is a good source of folate. Alternatively, for other evenings, if you make up your pizza bases and put them in the freezer, you can add other vegetables, and this is an excellent way to get children who don't like vegetables to eat it, because nearly all children that I know love pizza, and if you cut the vegetables up small enough, they will eat whatever's on top. So things like broccoli or red peppers, spinach, sweet corn, any of these vegetables also would make a fantastic topping.
There we go. One courgette and bacon pizza.